Hello, I'm Michael. In this video I'd like to talk about the v-logl picture profile from Panasonic. So the v-logl profile from Panasonic, it's basically a firmware upgrade that you have to pay for. I paid around 149, 150 Australian dollars for it. And what it's supposed to do, it's supposed to give you a picture profile that's very, very flat to make it easy, or give you more options in post-production to do color correct and color grade. So previous to this I've been using v-logl profile with some custom settings. I will share them down below, or I'll write them on the screen here somewhere. They're the settings that I'm currently using and I have been using in the past, and I've been really happy with them so far. I've got my little workflow that I do for that, and it's been really good. So I've played around with the v-log, the new v-log profile firmware upgrade for about a week now, just off and on, and my honest thoughts are I'm not really a fan of it at all. The lowest ISO you can use with it is 400, and I find it to be really noisy. Not the fact that it's ISO 400, because on v-logl at ISO 400 it still seems to be decently sharp, but it's just the profile itself is very noisy. So yeah, that's one bad thing about it. Second bad thing about it is it's kind of hard to gain focus sometimes because of that extra noise. The focus peaking kind of just all over the place, so that's another thing I'm not really a big fan of. When it comes to grading, I'm going to put two videos up now. One of them is just the flat v-log footage, the other is just v-logl straight out of the camera, and then I'll do the same videos but slightly graded very quickly, just to show you the difference between the two. I just find it's on an 8-bit camera, so an 8-bit codec, I don't think it's worth recording in v-log. So I spent a lot of time trying to color correct and color grade something in v-log. It took me ages and I still wasn't half as good as what I got with v-logl in a matter of minutes. So yeah, that's where I'm at with it. It's it's noisy, very hard to color correct and grade. I did use the LUT, so that's a lookup table from Panasonic. That was the best option that I did find. I downloaded heaps of other LUTs, especially ones that people were selling. I actually paid for some LUTs people were selling that were meant to be for v-logl, and yeah, still wasn't a fan. Couldn't achieve the look I wanted. Because it's so flat, when you do grade, I notice that everything seems to change. So if you're trying to change your highlights, everything kind of seems to change a little more than it should, because it is so flat. Once you apply the LUT, that's a bit better, but I still find it's just not nowhere near as good as what I was using with v-logl and grading with that. I mean, v-logl is good if you recorded something and something got blown out. I mean, it's flat, you can get things back, but if you know what you're doing and you make sure you're not overexposing too much in v-logl, then you know, if someone asked me should I get v-logl and we're using v-logl currently, I'd say no. Definitely not. I'm not a fan of it. As I said, I've played around with it for a while now, and it's like I said, it's taken me ages just to grade something that doesn't look half as good as my v-logl graded footage that took me a quarter of the time to do. So that's my opinion. I don't think it's, reason being, I don't think it's good using the log format or v-log profile on an 8-bit codec or an 8-bit camera. It's not worth it. It's compressed, so you're recording a flat image and then that's being compressed even more, so you're just losing way too much detail. I think that's why the final image is noisy compared to v-logl. I think if I was to use a 10-bit external recorder like the Atomos shotgun, I don't have one, but I'm planning on maybe getting one. Even then, I've seen the difference between the footage of them two. There isn't much difference between the GH4 footage and the Atomos footage. There's probably a little bit more leeway when it comes to color grading and correction, but yeah, maybe if I was using the 10-bit recorder or something like that, I would try the v-log once again. But for now, I think I'm just going to stick to using my v-logl, and yeah, I've been really happy with it. I just thought, you know, v-log, maybe I'll just get that extra bit of movement when it comes to shadows or blown out highlights, but I'm not a fan. If you know your camera and you know the profile, you know when something's going to look good or bad in the camera. That's what I've found. That's what I've learned over time from using this camera. And yeah, I will say the v-log profile, it does get a lot more detail from the shadows and the highlights, but as I said, by the time you've graded it or tried to color correct it and grade it, it just doesn't look anywhere near as good as the v-logl footage. And a lot of forums I've read, people have been saying the same thing. They're just going to throw it out and continue using Cinelike D. I'm in the same boat. There are people who've had success with v-logl, but I mean, I don't want to spend hours and hours and hours color grading and correcting footage if I can get the same result in 1/10 of the time just using Cinelike D straight out of the camera. So sorry I went on a bit, but that's my thoughts about v-logl. If you have any questions at all, let me know in the comments below. Please subscribe. I think that's it. I'll see you soon. Thanks for watching.